I do. From day one, I've always been an avid investor. Do you know how many businesses I've invested in that field?
We don't, which is why we're
Okay, which
asking
you
you.
Nigerians do if you don't. Okay, I'm a prominent member of business circles. Okay, I co-own a travel agency, my career travels. I brought World Ventures to Nigeria. We probably own about five branches right now. I have a white South African partner with a white South African CFO that co-own it with me. I'm the majority shareholder. I co-own a gaming company called Biggie.
Okay.
Okay, I'm second highest shareholder in there. I own a logistic company. I co-own four Airbnbs in Lagos.
Wow.
Okay, I co-own. Also a majority shareholder of an estate company.
Okay.
Okay, illustrious. I brought my brother-in-law to be MD. I own 52% of it. I have investments in probably about four or five international brands across. I own stocks. I'm completely literate in financial investment.
That's very
That is the
interesting.
background that I grew up in.
Okay. So
I'm an
when did
Igbo
you
man.
decide that you were not going to put all your eggs in one basket? Because a lot of
Since I was 19.
creatives, okay.
Since I was
What
19.
made you decide that, and how did you gather up enough to start?
The background
Considering,
that I come from explicitly, is the reason for it. My father is a businessman. My mother is a highly successful businesswoman. I mean, she's well known for it. She passed some 6, 7 years ago, and I probably inherited everything that came from her.
okay,
Okay, and I invested it audaciously. It was no small. I go out every time I'm not in the public domain. I'm getting well educated in financial matters. It's non-stop symposiums, it's non-stop conferences, it's non-stop postgraduate classes, as many as I can. And many times I'll tell you why my business has failed, because I was so fixated on growing my career. Every time I
you mean
created
your
businesses,
acting career?
yes, I would create it and put it in the hands of people that were far less passionate
Okay.
than I was, and even understand the bearings of what it took to make it successful. And mostly in the hands of people that had paper qualifications, and it will fail every time it took off. Started doing well while it was under my mantle. It will fail every time there's a shift in the helm of affairs. And after a while, my management and my sisters, and again, I incorporated all my sisters. My whole family worked with me, for me, or together. I told everybody, listen, I educated myself, I paid for my sister's school. So when everybody was thinking I was crazy and everything, I was empowering my family. I was paying school fees. I was making sure everybody got their masters. So 2, 3 years work experience. I called everybody back and said, "Come work in the family business owned by me." There's no salary structure anybody can put out there that I will not equal or even do better. So my two sisters are MDs in my company. They're married. Their two husbands also work for me or with me or co-own entities with me. So I brought everybody back and made it what it was. I empowered my circle. A lot of people don't understand what it means that aside yourself, the next biggest investment you have is a human resource investment. Is empowering the circle around you. Once you empower the circle around you, you don't have to do anything for them anymore. It's a multiplying effect after that. And so that was what it was. And I have mentors. I have unbelievable mentors. I just lost one to COVID a few months ago, and it hurts deeply because this was a man that was more or less a son to. Now, while my father wasn't extremely literate in these matters, I found mentors. I found surrogate fathers that became mentors in businesses for me. So we shut down. They had a meeting. It was an intervention. They said, listen, you've put in enough in this business, in this establishment called entertainment. Leave it. This is what you are trained. This is your core background. I have a training in banking and finance. I have a training in financial studies. Come back and man your businesses yourself. So for the last 5, 6 years, I wasn't seen. That was what I was doing.
Right.
You can't be in the public. The people that want to invest in you don't want to see the ostentatious lifestyle. They don't want to see. They want to know their money is safe with you. You can't go there buying roses and jumping around and partying all everywhere and expect to attract investors.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way. So one has to shut down for one to leave, and that's what happened.
So just before I let Andy come in, do you enjoy this? Do you enjoy the surprise on people's faces when you are completely a paradox of what we think you are, and you come out with this depth of persona, and you find that people are like, oh, I didn't know he was like that. Is that a high for you? Is it something you enjoy?
Yes, very much so. I think that is even a fuel for doing it. A lot of times, and again, I come with my narratives. I remember this time we walked into a pitch. They've turned out to be one of our biggest investors. You might know them, Innocent Motors. I was at a commercial recently, but it goes far beyond that relationship. I remember the chairman the first time we had a meeting, and I walked in. Everybody was busy taking selfies with me, taking pictures with me. And when we sat down, there's a young man that works for me. He's always well suited and booted, has the right speak. He has all the. That's why I hired him. I came with the shirt and t-shirt. I mean, the t-shirt and jeans and Sancho's, by the way. So when we walked in, he did a pitch, and after that, they called him. They didn't invite me to the next meeting. They called him and told him, listen, we know Jim Iyke is the face of your brand. We know you brought him along as, to make things work. We like the idea. We're going to partner with you, but want you to retain him as brand ambassador. And this man said no, and that actually is the owner of the company. I work for him. The pitch I just put out is completely written by him. He just let me pitch, and as a matter of fact, I'm a short-term staff.
So that was a high
Yeah,
for
because
you.
what I told him, if we get this deal, I'll make it permanent.
Okay.
So they left the guy in the t-shirt that is the custodian of the whole idea, and took the guy with the suit because that
Perception.
more perception.
But you also did it intentionally.
No, ma'am, I didn't.
You knew
I
you
played
what you
my
were doing
role.
when you wore the
I'll
t-shirt.
tell you why I didn't do it intentionally.
Okay.
If I wore the suit and did the pitch, all they see there is Jim, the actor. They will never see the businessman.
Okay, so you let the business.
I let the
speak
business
first.
because I'm not emotional about it. I know what I own. And even if they wanted, the whole idea is that I was more than content. That's where you let ego take precedence of good business, of good common sense. Because I know my star quality and of whatever fame it is will overshadow the intent of the day. So I let the man that I hired do the talking, do whatever he was trained to do.
Right.
And at the end of the day, as long as the business came back to us, the company, that more than sufficed.
Right. So for now, you have your own produced movie.
Yes, sir. It came from Six Sense Production, our entertainment company, and we executive produced this. I felt I'd given again over a decade and a half of my life to this establishment. I felt I'd given about a decade and a half of my life to this establishment, and it's only fair that I come and go as I please. And I also thought that I can only come when I have something to say. Yeah, it doesn't. What are you staying in this space for? I'm not gonna fight over roles with these kids anymore and do all that stuff. I'm way past that. So I felt the only time that I should be heard and seen is when I have something to say.
Right.